Welcome to AI powered bestseller formula. I'm so excited to have you here. So, this is my same formula that I've been teaching since 2009. And every time there's something new in the industry, I up level it. And now it's AI powered. AI has been around for a little while, but these days it's gotten to a point where it gets very interesting and very helpful. Let's dive right in. So, right off the bat, let's just say it. We all have a lot of Zoom meetings every week, right? A lot of Zoom presentations and all that. It's convenient, but also I think we're all getting Zoom worn. So I'm going to keep this as to the point and sweet as possible. At the end, if you have questions, you can ask me or email me, reach out to me on Facebook. If you want more details on something, I'm always glad to give it, but I'm going to give you as much as I can in this maybe 30 to 45 minutes max today. Okay. All right. Let's jump in. So, a bit about me and as much of my bestseller formula as I can possibly give you in this amount of time. So, uh, I'm Kathy Kay. If we haven't met yet, hello. I'd love to get to know you better. I'm pretty much everywhere on social media as Kathy K Books. So, whatever your favorite social media platform is, find me there. I have 26 years in online business development and web design. And honestly, that's longer now, isn't it? I need to update that. So, wow. But since 2009, my focus has been best-selling books. I wrote my first book in 2009, and that's when I found out it's absolute fire to have a book for marketing purposes. It really sets you aside as an expert in the industry and gives you the best marketing content ever. It's just too easy, too simple. So, I have helped over 600 people become best-selling authors. I'm proud to say I think that number is closer to 700 now. Lost track a while ago, but yeah, I love what I do. Uh, so my personal experience with AI, I've always loved technology and I've been using AI. Like we use it in Word documents from way, way back. Used it with Otter AI to record, transcribe, and things like that. People really didn't think of that as AI, but it was. It was just kind of clunky and didn't work very well. Now we've come so far, so fast with ChatGPT, and I've been teaching people how to implement ChatGPT to help their business as an author since spring 23. So it's been a wild ride. Now, recently, I was working on my own book and I was thinking, long story short, I was like, man, I just can't seem to get this dang thing done. I need to hire a ghostwriter because that's one of the things we've done and do for our clients. I'm like, I just need to, do this. And I thought, why can't I just have ChatGPT interview me? Right? Like, wow, why didn't I think of this sooner? So I started doing that, and now I'm glad to share that with you. Uh, some of you may have, you know, some thoughts of like, yeah, but it's from interview. Is it me? It is 100% you. It is your stories, the way that you share it. It is your information that only you can share, right? So here are some great examples of books that were done from interview. Becoming by Michelle Obama, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Abundance Now by Lisa Nichols, The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Now, these last two, Dr. Ali Griffith, Amazing Gift, and Naomi Sodeman, Embrace the Mirror, those are our clients that had their books done from interview and went on to have great, great success with their books and leveraging those books to their business. Like Dr. Ali, my favorite quote from her was she said, the credentials of being a best-selling author did more for me than the credentials of being a doctor ever did. It got her on Good Morning America, The Drew Barrymore Show, and so many others. Naomi Sodman, She was very successful in her career, wanted to come home, be a stay-at-home, work-at-home mom, and she wanted to have a successful business from day one. So she hired Susie Carter, best thing she could have ever done. And Susie Carter sent her to me. So she needed to get her book done, even though she didn't really want to, and English was not her first language. But we did a book for her, made it a bestseller. She followed all the steps I gave her, and she generated over $100,000 in her first year of business. So it can certainly be done. AI plus your content. So when people think of the difference between AI generated content and AI enhanced or edited content, assisted content, so most people think of AI generated. That would be, okay, tell me about X, Y, and Z. And it's going to make stuff up based on information it's gotten out of the internet and all that. It's just going to make that up. Okay. That is not what we do here. These are your stories, these are your methods. Like it might suggest a table of contents, but the actual content is you, the way that you say it. Okay. So imagine it's interviewing you, asking you questions. You get to tell it your stories, your formula, the way that you teach, and it just types faster than any assistant ever could and more accurately. That's really what it's all about. And because of my background with books, it's not like I'm coming at this from a tech standpoint, offering a solution for book writing. No, no, no. I'm coming at this from here's all the things I need in order to have a best-selling, good quality book, and then programming AI to do that. Really makes all the difference in the world. So, our bestseller formula is based on what consumers actually want. It is 100% guaranteed. I have 100% success. We've been doing this long enough that I can tell you exactly what you need, points you need to hit in your book, as well as the marketing and publishing of it. So I'm going to give you as much as I can today. Size of the book. Short reads. I hope this is freeing to you because if you look at the most popular books today, most of them are 150 pages or less. And these are so hot right now that Amazon has actually created specific categories for short reads. Like people want to get to the point. Like, can't you just give me the solution? Why do I have to wade through 350 pages to get to the chapter I actually need? Right? So understand that you're looking at about 20,000, 30,000 words, and it's really only about a 30 page document. That's really it. 30, sometimes 25 to 35 is like a range for a 100-page formatted book. Now, I've had people walk up to me and hand me 150 pages typed up, and I'm like, first of all, we're not selling 11 and a half by 8 size book, right? By the time we reformat this for an actual book, we're going to have like 450 pages. This is insane. Can't do that. So understand that as you're typing, as you're putting this together, you really only need about 30 word pages. Okay. Here's a little bit of proof for you. New York Times bestselling author Seth Godin has written nearly 20 short reads. And my very favorite one is only 64 pages long. V is for vulnerable. Great read. And if you have been anywhere in the corporate world, you have certainly had to read this book, Who Moved My Cheese? And when you got this book in your hand, the first thing you thought was, oh, thank God it's small. It's small, it has 1 inch margins all the way around, large font, lots of doodles and space. But here's the thing. The content, the content is so impactful that it has sold over 28 million copies. Let's think about that for a minute. 28 million copies. And books get passed from person to person. So that doesn't mean just 28 million people have read it either. a lot more people have read it because the content is good quality. So, 30 pages of good quality content is all you need for a great book. Okay? What to write? This is the number one question that I get asked, aside from what makes a bestseller. What to write? Because most of you, you're brilliant, you're experienced, and so you come to me saying, well, I could write about this or that or this or that. What should I write about? And here's the thing. A lot of people have it in their mind that they have to put anything and everything all in this one book, that this one book is the it. This book is only the beginning. It's the beginning of the conversation. It's the beginning of the stack of books that you're going to publish. You only need to consider, what do you want to be known for the next 6 months to a year? What are your short-term goals? Because from there, you can catapult. And then when you're ready, you'll write another book. If you can get the first one done, you can certainly do more. Okay? So think about this thing that you're just burning to tell people about. Maybe you want to have an online program for. If you were on stage, this is the thing you'd want to speak about. These are the people you would want to speak to. Think of it that way for the next 6 months to a year, not 10 years down the road, just the next 6 months to a year. Okay. So here are some basic ChatGPT prompts. I'm going to show you some examples in a walkthrough, but this is a great prompt for really diving into what is the topic that you're going to write about. Okay, so one of the things that you can easily do is take a picture of this, and then in your phone, you can highlight the words in the photo and copy and paste. I do this all the time with presentations. But at the end, you're also going to get a link to the document that has all of these prompts. So just know that you can have both. You can have in your phone and you can also have the document. But notice ideal client is something important to fill in, and results or pain point is something very important to fill in. Okay, so let's talk about that. Clarity is key. And this is where we start inside of my program, is really getting super crystal clear on these three things. Once you're crystal clear on this, everything else comes together very quickly. If you had to do a keynote speech this Saturday, could you pull something together? If you knew who was in the audience, what their pain points are, what they need, who they are, and what it is that they're looking for, and you could figure out what result you want them to have from your keynote speech, could you pull one together in a few short days? I think you could, right? Because you'd be clear about who you're speaking to, how you're speaking, what you want them to get. Now, imagine if we had that clarity with your book. None of this, it's for everybody. If you're speaking to everybody, you're speaking to nobody. When they read it, they're going to think, oh, they're talking to them because they're not talking to me, right? So if you get really clear about who it is that you want to draw to you, like a beacon, then we can have a book that will do exactly that. So who is your ideal reader? So when we know what result you want them to have, what you want to leverage your book to do, it really helps us determine the ideal reader. So let's imagine that you want to have an online course from your book, and that you know who these ideal clients are. So the ideal client of your course that you want to turn your book into, we know that they are, I'm going to use for my example today, women over 40, and they are looking for purpose in their lives. So the result I want them to have is to just move a little bit forward in understanding that they can have purpose in life and what that might be. Okay, so my ideal reader in this case, I'm going to say women over 40 who are looking for purpose. And what do I want to leverage the book to do? I want to turn the book into an online course. So I already know this going ahead. So I need to have them set up so that at the end of the book, they're like, ooh, I like this. I need more of her. I need more of this. I'm going to go enroll in the course, right? That's probably the most common thing that most of our authors do with their books and target their books for. But we've also had people who are climbing the corporate ladder or are doing things that are political or social that they're trying to create influence in. So it really, really depends on what you want to leverage your book to do. These are key because it creates a tool that literally brings your ideal client to you. Okay. So clarity is key. The other four things that you need in every best-selling book, these are four things not to miss. You want to have, usually in the beginning, either as part of the introduction or part of the first chapter, it can be short or long, who you are and how you discovered this. The point of this is to build know, like, and trust so that everything the reader reads they're going to want to hear it and accept it and believe you. So if you just pick up a book and it immediately starts saying, go do this, go do that, go do this, go do that, you're like, who is this person? Like they're just telling me what to do, but I don't know. Like, why should I believe them? Especially if there's resistance to what they're telling you to do. Like, you're going to question that. It's human nature. So if they see a picture of you on the cover, which I always highly recommend, and they hear your voice and your words because that's what we do with AI is we have it use your words, right? And they get to see a part of you that's like oh, visible, vulnerable, authentic. So you start with the who you are that they want to be or have a piece of or aspire. So it might be financial wealth or it might be, in this case, having that sense of purpose in life. I'm lucky enough I can actually speak on that. I have found my purpose in life. There was a time that I felt lost and I was just going through the motions of, regular life. But in helping people share their messages with the world and helping people get books done, like that's worth getting up for every morning. Like I don't even have words for. So I could speak on that and saying that today I have purpose. I have a purpose that gives me joy from the inside out. And then you want to tell them, how did you come to this? How did you discover this? And why you want to share it. So be visible, vulnerable, and authentic in sharing that. Okay. And then ultimately you want to, like, what does this solve? Why? What's the why? Give them the whole what does this solve? How do I do that? The meat and potatoes usually of the book, right? And then these are the parts that are most often missed. These are the two that most people don't even know should be in the book. And that is what is the downside if they don't do this? Because even when we want change, we want it. We know we need it. We're hesitant to it. We're resistant to it. That's in our human nature. So we need some motivation. And the most powerful motivation is negative, right? So if you remind them of every day that passes, they've lost something or they haven't gained something or they're not able to do something, they're going to be more motivated to take action sooner. And so this is usually a story. It could be your story or a story of a client or something like that that usually ends with, man, I wish I did that sooner. So you can absolutely make this just a short, simple story, or it can be longer. It just depends on the content of your book. But whatever you do, Don't miss out on this part, okay? And then finally, what can they do today? I really should have capitalized that word. What can they do today? Because you have to give them some sort of tools. Either, my favorite, go to the website, your website, and download something that they can use immediately. A worksheet, a checklist, a video, an audio, affirmations, or anything like that. What can they do today? But it could also be just a simple list in the back of the book as well. But what can they do? What are their next steps? Because so many books, they might start with a really heartfelt, very vulnerable story about themselves. That's great. I trust you. I know you. I want to hear what you have to say. So then they give them all the content of go do this, go do that. Yay, this is how to solve that problem. And then it stops there. There's no motivation to take action, and there's no next steps. That's very old school, right? This is a new school book. So we want them to take action, and ultimately that action should be to engage with you in some way, right? Okay, so now that we have gotten the key things that we need, we can begin working with ChatGPT. Now, inside of my course, this is all in forms, and we do a much deeper dive, and you get access to me every Wednesday so that we can discuss these things. But let's jump a little bit ahead, okay? We're going to go straight to ChatGPT now. So again, feel free to take a picture of this, a screen grab, um, and also the link will be at the end so that you can get this in a document, okay? Basic prompt, create a book outline for me. And I'm going to show you that this I've already done, okay? Now here's where we get into the interesting and fun part to have it interview you. Okay, now let's go to ChatGPT. So I'm going to show you. I've already filled this in to provide me for women over 40 who are asking about finding life's purpose. Let's do a little brainstorming, okay? And I want to know about the top questions that people are asking, that women over 40 are asking about finding their life's purpose, okay? So here are the results it gave me. There's some pretty good ones in here. I especially like this. What books, tools, or resources can help me find my purpose? Love that. So, how can I find more joy and fulfillment in everyday life? So, great brainstorming. You can have deeper conversation, or you might have just found that, yeah, this validates exactly what I want to do. Now, acting as a content developer, this is the other prompt I showed you. Uh, Prepare a recommended short read book table of contents on the topic of finding life purpose, written for women over 40. This is what ChatGPT generated. So at this point, with the sample introduction, part one, chapter one, so at this point, you can edit and refine this to be exactly what you want. This is a recommendation that ChatGPT is giving because it looks for patterns. With books, articles, blog posts, social media, any content that's ever been fed or can search, it looks for the patterns of women over 40 finding life's purpose. These are the things that most commonly are grouped together. Okay. These are the things that are grouped together. This is not an exact copy of something else. This is a compilation of, oh, most books have this kind of information. Most articles have this kind of information. These are the most popular things I see grouped together. And so these are recommendations. And this alone might be like, yes, perfection. And then you'll go in and you'll want to paste in, because you'll copy and paste this to a document, the parts that you want to add to it. Your personal stories, your personal notes, um, moments that are important that you don't want to forget. Now, perhaps if it asks you, moving beyond wife, mother, employee, and caregiver, how did that play out in your life as the author? That's very simple for you to then answer in your words. It's not giving content. This doesn't mean anything. This is a question here. This isn't content that a person can read. This is simply how is it going to prompt you to give content to fill in? If you don't like this, remove it. If you want something new, add it. You can even tell ChatGPT to move things around for you, or you can just simply copy and paste. Okay? So now that we have a table of contents, I'm going to show you how to actually do the interview portion, because that's the one that's most exciting. I swear, it's just a no-brainer, so exciting. So I'm going to pull ChatGPT up on my phone. Here we go. And I have ChatGPT on my screen. So here are our prompts that I'm using for today. This is exactly what it looks like in yours, except this part is blank. You get to fill it in with what your key things are. Now, acting as a ghostwriter, ask me interview questions for chapter 1 is what I'm going to do. Okay, so it's going to type up all the questions. Sorry about that. And then when I speak my answer, I want to start with this. Okay, so I'm going to be reading this portion as I speak it and then answer those questions. Okay. Pull up these questions it has for me. Okay, so I'll go back and show you just real quick. So these are the questions that I have on my phone that I'm looking at. Okay, I'm going to be answering with the audio on the phone inside of ChatGPT, and then it will generate writing. Now, for the sake of this demonstration, I am not going to answer all 20 questions. I'm just going to answer a few questions so that you can see how well it interprets and types what I say. Okay? So I'm going to actually read this. Now, I want to think about this a minute. So my style is, so you want to think about and fill this in with what is your writing style? Because you want this to sound like you. You want to make sure it picks up on that. So my writing style is business casual. My writing style is very friendly. So I want to say things like that. Okay. Um, and my readers are women over 40. Um, and the average reading level is 8th grade. So we want to make sure that it's accessible to everyone. And these are women who are searching for their purpose. Okay, so I want to say something like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually do it and show you how this all plays out. So, acting as a ghostwriter, use the following answers to write content for chapter 1. It should be written in my voice and style from me in second person to my readers in present tense. My style is business casual. I like a sense of humor sometimes when it's appropriate, and I like to write in a very friendly, simple manner. My readers are women over 40 who are seeking their purpose, who are trying to find their life's purpose and a new level of life. Um, and they are working women over 40. So let's go ahead and go through some of these questions. So the questions you have for me. Um, so a bit about me, I would typically respond by saying, um, I'm a life coach that helps women over 40 find their life's purpose. Uh, if I stripped away the roles that I play, I truly am a child of God, and I love helping women find their purpose as well. Yes, I do feel at some point like I lost myself. It was after the kids went off to college and we were empty nesting, and um, I have a good life, but I realized that there was just an emptiness, a loss. It just felt mundane because I didn't have the focus of my children at home. And so, uh, over a period of time, I found a coach who helped me to come out of my shell and explore different things like roller skating and needlepoint and more social activities, and really brought out the life in me and made me realize I love helping others, and that's what I most want to do. So that's enough to give me the first couple paragraphs of chapter one. Please go ahead and compose those first few paragraphs to see how things are going along for chapter one. So now it's just processing. It's going to take just a little bit. So recognize that you can speak all of your answers. You don't have to type it. Okay? I uploaded it. And now we're getting an answer. Let's see what this looks like. Wait for it to finish processing. Okay. So now we're going to refresh on the computer so we can see what it generated based on the answers that I gave. Okay. Chapter one, who are you beyond the labels? So you'll notice that it gave some generalizations. And see, I talked about my children, and I had a good life, and I had a feeling that I couldn't shake, and emptiness, and a sense that something was missing. Remember when I said that? It's pretty good. And I mentioned about needlepoint, roller skating, social situations, and I realized what truly lit me up was helping other women figure out what lights them up. See? There you go. So even though I rambled a little bit, I gave it the content it needed to be able to type it all up. Tippity tap type. Now I can copy and paste this into a document and edit it, or I can give it commands to edit more, right? But you'll see that these questions follow the outline that it gave me. So that's why it's so important to start with really understanding who your ideal reader is, what result you want them to have, so that you can create an outline for your book that walks them through exactly how you want them to get there. So if you have everything that you need here, then it will ask you everything it needs to type up and fill in the content. And that's where we get to work together. That's what I love most. Okay. So my 90-day bestseller formula is now powered with AI. So you will learn to write publish, and market your book to bestseller guaranteed. You get access to me every week on Wednesdays. If you can't make it, it's recorded. That's okay. Um, we have templates, videos, all that kind of stuff for you to follow along with, to be able to work at your own pace and get support as you go along. I've seen people write their book in a 3-day weekend. I've seen them do it in a few weeks. It really just depends on how you chunk your time and how busy your life is, right? You're not inventing the wheel. You're just getting the content you already have in your head down on paper. So you can get started for as little as $4.97. Clarity hot seats. This is where you and I get super, super crystal clear on those three things we mentioned. Who is your ideal reader? What do you want? What result do you want them to get from reading this book? And ultimately, what do you want to leverage the book to do? When you know those things, you can answer everything else. Everything else is so easy. And then, of course, Author AI Advantage is the AI component with all of your prompts, custom GPT, and everything that you need to have AI actually interview you and generate the book. And then, as it has always been, the bonus to this is book to course so that you can turn your book into an online course. Like it's just a no-brainer. Once you've created the book, you've done the heavy lift. Everything after that is easy. Social media is easy, content is easy, teaching a course is easy. If you get the best-selling book done, it's a no-brainer to create a book or a course based on your best-selling book, right? So these are all free bonuses to you. I always look at what is my return on investment. No matter what I'm investing in, I have lots of coaches for many, many things. And I always look at what is the return on my investment. And this is like the biggest no-brainer return on investment that I've ever seen in anything. Not only do you have the credentials of being a best-selling author to leverage to do so many things with, because remember, like Dr. Alley said, the credentials of being a best-selling author did more for her than the credentials of being a doctor ever did. That's massive. That's massive. And nobody can ever take it away from you. Your great-great-grandchildren will know that you were a best-selling author, right? But here's the thing. If you then turn your book into an online course, you can recoup your money like nearly instantly. Let's go back to that again. Nearly instantly. So look, if you only had 10 students at $200, that's $2,000. That covers all of your fees for getting this book done. Like that is a no-brainer. But here's what I get super, super, super excited about is how do you then leverage this to turn it into large revenue, something that you can actually leave a job, come home and work the business of your dreams. Imagine you have a 3-month course that's only $1,000 per student. It's a no-brainer at $250 a month. That's all they have to pay, $250 a month. You enroll 25 students. That's $25,000. If you do that 4 times a year, that's $100,000. This is exactly the kind of formula that Naomi Sodeman followed, and she generated $100,000 her first year. It's not rocket science. Very simple math. $250 a month. Now, we use this very same formula for Dr. Dre on Birch. And his thing was to have a course for doctors online because of the many things that they teach you in medical school, they don't teach you much about business, unfortunately. So his school is actually very successful. He's had a lot of students at this point. But originally, he went from 0 to 1,000 people added in his community in 1 week in Facebook. And his course sales for his first run of the course in less than 60 days was $158,620 of enrollment because the formula works. whether it's a small course or a big course, whether you're teaching college students or you're teaching doctors. The formula is the same and it works. Okay. So I like to keep everything simple. I like to try to do it in threes. One, enroll in the 90-day bestseller formula. Two, we need to have that clarity hot seat session. Let's get clear so that you can create that outline. Because once you do that, it's just fill in the blank. So easy. Then three, create an online course from your book for your highest return on investment. For those who pay in full, first 10 people per month that pay in full, you also get the bonus of a premium press release. Because again, the credentials, having these logos on your website and in your social media begins to create feelings of trust in the brain. These are important things. So for the first 10 people who pay in full, you get this bonus as a free no-brainer. Okay. I would love to have you join us. Someone is waiting on your message. Like literally, you know this. You already know this, right? Like when you're not available, they're going to find another solution. A less adequate, not as ideal solution. You need to be available. So let's get the book done. If you need to have a conversation, my link is here at the bottom. Feel free to take a screenshot of this. Come join us in the next round uh, of the bestseller formula. Go to authoraiadvantage.com. It'll take you directly there to sign up. If you need to have a conversation, hop on my calendar, calendly.com/Kathy K Books. And you can find me all over the internet as Kathy K Books on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, um, in X, like anywhere imaginable. Okay. So I look forward to talking to you soon. If you have any questions, just let me know.